do, you do.
Rabbi Benny, remember? Benny?
But
I
who did
can't
you
hear
say?
Doug.
Rabbi Benny, he was a great teacher.
Yes, Rabbi Benny was a great teacher. Also, Juby and Claire, who used to come on Gather and just blew me away every single
Benny?
time.
Uh-huh.
And
A guy named Alden and Darla. Did you know?
oh, yes, absolutely.
He actually started with us in 2001, literally 2001. That was before Gather was on AOL. Yeah, Alden and Darla are very well known in the Endeavor community.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In fact, Darla is one of the singers on that album that you have.
Yeah. That was Darla and Ellie.
Isn't Carrie from there too? Isn't Carrie from there too?
No.
No, no. Well, wait. I think
I
that
think so.
Harry went there. He went
Oh,
there
okay.
for a couple of weekends, but
yes, he did.
yeah,
Yes,
but he's not really
but he wasn't one of the, they send teachers to South America and all over the place. They're very productive in the course community.
let me see. I'm trying to what did I do here? Now I have this big old screen of nothing but what can I do? I can't get to my what the hey? I'm screwed up here, kids. How do I escape? I have this big screen here and I can't
Lisa Natoli was there for about 10 years.
yeah, Lisa was an original of the Endeavor as well.
Uh, and her mentor, Greta Juncker, is the one that came here to teach at Gather on a Saturday night. And she's the one that told the story, the difference between trust and faith,
Yep.
which I tell a lot.
The wheelbarrow story.
That's right.
Yep.
I love that story.
Oh, I didn't hear it.
Oh, Dove, tell
Let's
it.
hear it, Dove. Let's hear it.
It's great.
So Lisa invited Greta Juncker to come on a Saturday night to Gather. That was like, I don't know, 2009, 2010, something like that. And she was teaching on faith and trust. So someone from Gather asked, well, what is the difference between faith and trust? She said, oh, big difference. She said, like in faith, you have to push a wheelbarrow from one end of a high wire to the other end, and there's no safety net. And you have faith in yourself. You're going to put one foot right in front of the other, and you're going to slowly get that wheelbarrow from one side to the other side of that high wire. And you know that you can do it. Trust, that's a whole different world. In trust, you put yourself into the wheelbarrow. Nobody, no matter who's pushing the wheelbarrow, you're safe.
Mm. Mm.
That's trust. That's the trust of the Course of Miracles. God is the strength in which I trust. And what is trust? Trust, to rely upon spirit. Totally. You're letting go and letting spirit, period. Hi, Vishnu.
Lenny, you
Yeah, got it.
okay.
All right. My computer's just acting crazy today, so it's got the spirits in it. All right. So welcome everybody. Hi, Rico. Hi, Kathleen, Glorian, Vishnu, Dove, Rafi, and Brooklyn. Happy Halloween. And so let us get on to our main event. We're here studying the Song of Prayer, and we just got finished last week with the ladder of prayer. And so this week, we're starting on praying for others. And hopefully, oops, all right, switch back. Hopefully my computer will pick up the pace. I hate to keep pushing because then it'll go to the next. All right, praying. Okay, praying for others. All right. So not sure. Kathleen is here, and hopefully you can hear us and join in. What we do here, I'm not sure which Kathleen it is. So and we have several of them that could it be. So what we do, if you're not familiar, is that we read the paragraph, and then we discuss the paragraph and we look at how it works in our life. So who'd like to get started with praying for others? Let's see. I put up my
I'll read
thank you, sweetheart.
praying for others.
Yowie.
We said that prayer is always for yourself, and this is so. Why then should you pray for others at all? And if you should, how should you do it? Praying for others, if rightly understood, becomes a means for lifting your projections of guilt from your brother and enabling you to recognize it is not he who is hurting you. The poisonous thought that he is your enemy, your evil counterpart, your nemesis, must be relinquished before you can be saved from guilt. For this, the means is prayer of rising power with ascending goals until it reaches even up to God.
All right. Anything?
Rafi has his hands up.
Oh, okay. No, I just wondered if you had anything to say about it before I gave it to Rafi.
I'll just digest it a little bit.
Okay. All right. Rafi, please go ahead.
Did I unmute myself? Yes. This reminds me of something I remind myself of daily, that it's never them. Everybody's a reflection of my consciousness. If I see something in them I don't like, it's in me. I got to go inside and take care of it. The ACIM, if you spot it, you got it, is another way of putting it. But there is no them to do anything to you or for you. They can't. Everything originates from within. And this is a great reminder of that. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you, Rafi. Yeah, and it's always for me. And it's about projections of guilt. Doug, please go ahead.
I think Gloria and Karen are ahead of me.
No,
Well,
you
they
guys
are.
go. You guys
What?
go.
Oh, I see. Gloria and Karen. Okay, go ahead, Gloria.
I can go last. It doesn't matter. Brooklyn read the paragraph. You guys go. I can go last.
Well, Karen then.
We're all the same. We're all going first. Rafi, thank you so much. I agree 100% with what you said, and it's never about them. And that is what I get out of this too. We said that prayer is always for yourself. So that is for me to heal my own mind, so I can see clearly. Why then should you pray for others at all? Because there is no others. I mean, there is no others. I mean, we pray, and there's nothing wrong with praying for others. I mean, because I think traditionally, that's how I was brought up in Catholic school. You know, we pray for others, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that. But we know the truth is there really is no one out there outside of my mind. It is a projection. And that's why, you know, what he's saying here when he's talking about, for me, when he says it's rightly understood becomes a means for lifting your projections of guilt from your brother and enabling you to recognize it is not he who is hurting you. Lesson 5 comes to my mind. I am never upset for the reason I think. And this is a great, great teaching. I mean, this is something that it took me years to actually learn this. So I am so grateful for this learning, because I love how he calls it a poisonous thought. It's a poisonous thought that he is your enemy. Your evil counterpart, your nemesis, must be relinquished before you can be saved from guilt. I cannot blame my brother for anything today. And that is one of the greatest lessons I've learned. I cannot blame my brother for anything. I am doing this to myself. For this, the means is prayer of rising power and with ascending goals until it reaches even up to God. So that's for my wish for everyone. You know, that's my wish for everyone, that everyone recognizes the power that we all have. And I was just so grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen and Dove. And yeah, just this is it exactly. This is it's a gift for me, because I can actually look at my brother and see him as guiltless. Dove, I'm going to let you. Let's see. Glorian, go ahead next.
Well,
Or
let
Brooklyn.
yeah, Brooklyn was the reader.
Oh, okay. Well, she has her hand up.
I know.
Okay. So
Namaste, my companions, Rafi, Karen. It's what touched me was what Karen read. The poisonous thought that he is your enemy, your evil counterpart, your nemesis, must be relinquished before you can be saved from guilt. It's all about purification. When you look at someone, when you feel love, you feel love. When you don't feel love, you don't feel love. So it's our brother's our mirror. That's, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Glorian.
Yeah, I'm just going to say quickly that the poisonous thought kind of jumped out at me. And do we ever really take a look at the fact that the ego is toxic and really contemplate that? The poisonous thought, the toxic thought that he is your enemy, your evil counterpart, your nemesis, must be relinquished before you can be saved from, which is that guilt, which is the fearful voice of the ego. And, you know, I think it's important to recognize that when we are judging our brother and seeing him separate, that this is toxic to us realizing the reality that we are.
yeah, thank you for that, Glorian. And toxic is a good word. I mean, it's murderous, you know, and it's myself that's being, you know, you know, the poison actually destroys its own container. You know, I'm the one who's being hurt by it.
Go ahead, Rafi.
Yeah, Rafi, go ahead.
Well, if you look at the reality, I and the Father are one. There is only the oneness. There's no separation at all. And like Lester Levinson always used to say, who are you praying to? There's only the one. You are that, it is that, all this is that. So there can't be, you know, like a lot of religions, there's you and then there's a God up in the sky that you're praying to. There's only the one. And I have to keep reminding myself of that as much as I can to make sure that I stay with that oneness of our infinite being and take the responsibility for everything. And then you take the power away. I take the power away from ego because now I'm in charge. It's not. And as many of the masters have said, if you look at it really clearly, there is no such thing as an ego. It's that collection of thoughts and feelings and ideas and beliefs and data and information that constantly keeps self-referencing and running like a machine. And some even say, well, you know, it thinks that it's doing something to save you. It's all about self help or or keeping you alive, and but it's a false identity that wants to survive, and so the fear of death seems to be like a big deal. But when I realized that I'm infinite, I wasn't born, I don't exist the way and I can't die. Then the tendency to identify with the body gets less and less and less and less and less. And last night I looked at my story that I was born in the Bronx from this couple, and I grew up here, then I moved here, then I moved there, and I went to this school, and I went to go to this school, and I went to high school, and then I college, and then the acting school, moved to California. It's just a story. There's no reality in any of it. That's the illusion that we're buying into, that we think that that's real, and we have to deal with it and handle it and get stuff from it. And none of that's true. And this paragraph here, for me, summed that up beautifully. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafi. Yeah, the story of my life, it's fiction.
Yeah.
It is not a fact. It is fiction.
In fact,
Dove, please go ahead.
there is no you. I mean, that's the bottom line of the course. Even your so-called identity is not real. It's an invention. It's a story that allows you to come to class and learn lessons, and then who you think you are doesn't exist. So there's a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to bring up the word trust again. And I don't know if you can see it, but on my card, it says trust, and it comes from the Course in Miracles. And there's this one line, and I said earlier that if you trust, you put yourself into the wheelbarrow, and it doesn't matter who is pushing it, you're safe. And the one line in the Course that talks about the same thing is trust would settle every problem now. Trust would. So he's telling you, you don't have any problems, which he tells you in lessons 79 and 80. Let me see what my problems are so I can solve them. 79 and in 80, he says, let me realize I have no problems. We don't have any problems. The body has a lot of problems. There's no two ways about it. Who we are has no problem. So trust in spirit means I let spirit lead the way, and I have no problem. Trust would settle every problem. Now, the other thing I wanted to kind of mention, and almost everybody here has been saying it, is first of all, as this first line said, we said the prayer is always for yourself, and this is so. Period. In the Jewish religion, when someone passes away, they say a special prayer called the Yizkor prayer. Now, if you're hanging around some synagogues, you probably think the people who are left behind, whether it's a child, or a husband, a wife, whatever, is praying for the dearly departed. No, the Yizkor prayer is really for us. It's not for the dearly departed. It's literally to strengthen the peace and our own happiness and joy, because we are truly one, exactly as everyone here has been saying. And you're not praying for somebody out there. And like Karen made a big point, yeah, there is no them. There's no them. There's only one, which is exactly what Karen said. There's no them. I mean, you can blame them, or you can thank them, but there's no them. All right, I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Dove. Yeah, there is no them, and so everything I accuse them of, I'm actually accusing myself. Everything I think, I think they're untrustworthy. I think I'm untrustworthy. I think they're unworthy. I think I'm unworthy. I think they're crooks. I think I'm a crook. I think they're murderous. I think I'm murderous. All I have to do is reflect that back to myself, as this is all I'm seeing is a picture of my own thinking. So so it makes it pretty easy then to know where to go to fix the problem, is because there's no one else out there. And it's in my own mind, and that is the one thing I do control. I have a kingdom I must rule. Glorian, please go ahead.
Yeah, I love this conversation. I just want to jump on what Dove said there so clearly. The body has problems. We have no problems in the reality of what we are. And that's the trust, the recognition, and the acceptance of what I am, spirit. And that's why it doesn't have any problems, because nothing can ever affect what we are as we were created, which is love. So if we recognize that all the seeming problems that the body has is there to lead us into that trust of awareness of what I am, because that's exactly why we have it. It brings us deeper and deeper into, I'm not a body, I'm free, I'm as God created me. Thanks.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Karen, please go ahead.
Thank you, Glorian, Dove, Rafi, everybody. I agree with everything everyone said. And just to add to what Glorian said, the body is the classroom. And, the body is the classroom that's teaching me the unreality of the body. It's constantly teaching me the unreality because it's changing all the time. And the truth of who I am is changeless. I love what everyone's sharing here. And one thing that Rafi said, that there is not an ego. It's a false identity. And it's only our belief in it that makes it real. Dove said that it's who you think you are. And the Course says in Lesson 91 that what you think you are is a belief to be undone. It's just a belief, just like the ego thoughts are a belief, just like the separation is a belief. The separation never happened. It's just the belief that I think I'm separate, the belief that I think I'm this body, and I love what Rafi shared, that he said that he's identifying with the body less. He identifies with the body less. And, I'm starting to get to that point. I'm starting to get to that point, and it's a freeing feeling, and it's not 100% at all. When it's like these things that are happening right now with my body, like I have these two screws that are really bothering me. And in my back, one has a patch of fluid. It's a bursa. He said it's bursitis. It's like this bursa sac, and it's formed around the one screw, and it's very painful and uncomfortable. And it's still teaching me that I am not this body, and I don't have to allow it to destroy my peace. But there are times when it's very difficult. I have to say, I can't say that I am completely not identified with the body, but it's lessening, and I am grateful for that. But I think that is for me, the most difficult one to get over. Yeah, but it's getting there, and I'm grateful for everyone else who is helping me to remember the truth. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Karen. And when it's something that is so right on there, it's there with you the whole time. You're feeling that no matter where you are, no matter what your situation is, you're experiencing that that uncomfortable feeling. And I'm telling you, there's nothing more what is it? Blinding than the perception of form. When we're in that situation where we're perceiving ourselves as being, somehow or the other, in a bad situation, pain or suffering of any kind, that actually, we tend to forget ourselves. We tend to forget our reality, because we become overwhelmed by this feeling. So this is a really delicate situation to be in. Because you don't want to go into denial saying I'm not a body and this is not really happening when you're experiencing it. It's not like that's an unworthy form of denial, Jesus tells us. So it's a very delicate situation to be in, and I think you are very graceful in the way that you are experiencing and communicating this, Karen, and I appreciate it very much. Very much. Let's see, Glorian has her hand up and then Dove. Go ahead, Glorian.
Absolutely, Lynn. I totally agree with that. And the pain that's in the body makes it difficult for us to spiritually bypass something and just say it's not real because it seemingly is there. And I know for myself that, I had to change my mind about it and ask, what is this for? And then I became willing to see the seeming pain as an opportunity instead of, as an opportunity for me to make another choice. And if it's showing up, it's to reinforce to myself. It's an opportunity for me to return to that awareness of the I am presence. So I try to work with that. But of course, like you said, I mean, it's a major temptation. It hurts. Who wants it to, it seemingly hurts, but it hurts. And it's very real to us. So I don't think there's any denying that. And that's why I'm big on, if you're in pain, you take the magic. Why should you seemingly be in pain? If you take the magic, it reduces those seeming symptoms so that you can focus on the truth of yourself. And if you're in that kind of pain, there's times though you cannot change your mind. So we use everything, and everything's a gift. And even the pain, you come to see it as an opportunity and a gift so that I can make another choice. Thanks.
Thank you for that, Glorian. And yeah, the pain can be for one thing, I think several of us, many of us grew up in a kind of religion that told us that suffering is a good thing, and that pain is purifying and all sorts of things, that that God wanted us to suffer. That's the crazy one. That's the one that really cracks me up, is any idea that it was ever made that God wanted me to suffer. God did not make me to suffer. God made me to be free and happy and filled with joy. So if I'm experiencing suffering, be sure that is not what God expected or wanted for me. That is the opposite of what God wants for me. His will for me is perfect happiness, and perfect happiness does not include suffering in any way at all. So let's see, Dove, go ahead, and then Karen.
Okay, so we're talking about pain and suffering. It brings up that line from lesson 190. If God is real, there is no pain. If pain is real, there is no God. I mean, that's a biggie right out of the course. Now, the reason I raised my hand originally is something that Karen was talking about. Like she said, well, I'm not wholly, she was talking about something that Rafi said. I'm not wholly there yet, but, and then she went into the story and reminded me, one of my teachers was a guy named Muktananda. Mukta means to liberate, and Nanda means bliss. And he was an Indian guru who was the head of an ashram called Siddha Yoga Ashram. And Siddha is the mind. So this is the yoga of the mind. It's not the yoga of the body. It's the yoga of the mind. And he was very clear on how the mind operates. Now, one of the things about him is that he was a diabetic, and he used to love to eat sugar. And when people ask him, why did you do that? He says, to keep me anchored in the body. Because he was saying that if you're totally free of pain, there's no reason for you to be here anymore, So he would be sure that he anchored himself in something. You can say the sodium shrimp would do the same thing with alcohol. And I have a couple of things that hang on. I'm glad that they hang on. Uh, so so I just want to put that out that if you were totally free, there'd be no need to be here anymore. Period. Yes, Karen. Karen,
That was great though. I love that. That was really awesome. I love what that teacher taught you, and wow, you know, and that is I love what everyone's sharing. It's so perfect. And I love what Glorian shared too, that pain is an opportunity to make another choice. And I think everything here is an opportunity for forgiveness. It's an opportunity for forgiveness because, you know, the biggest thing for me is recognizing that I could see peace instead of this, you know, because I know that there's certain things that I physically have no control over. The body's going to change. The body's changing all the time. But my mind, that's what he's telling us here, that we said that prayer is always for yourself. So I'm always healing my own mind. And healing my own mind is saying that yes, I may be in pain and my body may be experiencing pain. I'm gonna express it like that. My body may be, but I don't have to suffer it. Number one, I don't have to suffer it. And number two, honestly, I could still be at peace regardless of what my body. And that is my major practice. And I think that that is the forgiveness that, you know, the opportunity, pain is an opportunity to choose again, to see things differently, to be at peace regardless. You know, this is what Jesus in the course is teaching us throughout this course, that you know, that is true denial. We're not to deny our body. We're not to deny it's an unworthy, but we're to deny that it has any power over our mind. That's what we're supposed to deny. We deny the ego's interpretation. Thanks.
very good, Karen. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Karen, and thank you, Dove. And now I see Kathleen. I see which Kathleen it is. Welcome, welcome.
I
However, you haven't been here for a very long time.
a very long time. But the thing I'm wondering, to put the little hand, how do you do that?
Okay, there's if you look on the where there's three little dots up in the I don't know where they are. It says more.
Yes, yes.
You click on that and there'll be a raised hand. But since you're on the mic, do you have something you'd like to share? I would love to hear you.
Well, I just came in, but I assume you're talking about pain and why we experience pain. Is that what you were like talking about? Because I
We're
just came
talking
in.
about praying for others from the Song of Prayer. So we're talking
Oh,
about, what it is that we're doing. And so, yeah, we are talking about pain. We're talking about the body. We're talking about all that kind of stuff. So I'd be really happy to hear what you say. And folks, Kathleen is someone who was with us a long time ago, maybe a few years ago.
yeah.
To come to this meeting every week. And so I'm really excited to see you here, my friend.
Okay,
Please
thank
go
you.
ahead.
Okay, so pain and praying for others is mostly the same thing, because when you're in pain, it's because you didn't wish somebody else's, you didn't pray for the other. So you are in pain, so you project the pain to another. So I think that prayer and pain goes together. So if you are in pain, you will project pain to everyone. But if you pray for peace and joy, it will be projected on everyone. So it's always internal. It's always within us. You can pray for joy and peace, but if your mind is fixed on pain and lack and suffering, you will see it everywhere. So I think that praying for another and how you see yourself is the same thing. There's no difference.
Thank you, friend. So glad to have you back and welcome again. And that's it, exactly as you said.
Yeah, I wanted to welcome Kathleen from Montreal, Canada back. Yes, she was a regular here, and very happy to see you back.
I love it. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yes, in regard to pain in the body, since everything is working toward our ultimate good, there's nothing here that isn't. The body, even though it isn't real and isn't me, is a great trigger mechanism. Every time I feel something in the body, I know that there's something within that's going on in my head that needs to be looked at and let go of. And as soon as I do that, there is no there is no more signal in the body, aka pain. Um, and as a result, I have been able to experience perfect health for decades and decades and decades simply by using, there's a pain here. What's going on? I don't know. Well, let's see. What's bothering me? What am I afraid of? What do I want right now? And go inside and find it. You know, I always find it and let it come up. And then because of the release technique, it's either wanting approval, wanting control, or wanting to be safe and secure and survive. And let go, welcome the feeling up and let it go. And then there's no more pain in the body because it did its job. Everything here is doing its job if you just let it. And the other thing about trust, I put it in the chat, but that in which we trust is never indifferent. It's there all the time, divinely serving, divinely protecting, divinely guiding, divinely loving, divinely protecting. What better? How better could you do? Could we do that? That to depend on that completely and totally and irrevocably. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Rafi. And yes, pain is a friend. When it points out to us the mistaken beliefs that we have in our mind about ourselves. Thank God for it. Because otherwise we would be blind. We would just be here suffering. And, once we realize the purpose of it, we can let it go. We can look at it and let it go. Glorian, please go ahead.
Yeah, the great conversation. Welcome back, Kathleen. I was just going to say the only true healing comes from realized oneness, which is actually true prayer. And speaking for myself, when I was dying, I truly believe that recognizing that undying spirit of God that's everywhere, that I am presence, and moving into the quiet mind where that's revealed to us really helped in my healing. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for that, Gloria. And yeah, and if you've ever been in a place where you felt like you were dying, or where your body was actually dying, it does wake you right up there. That is for sure. So, thank you. Anybody else have any comments on this particular paragraph? Pretty deep for Halloween. Let's then go on to paragraph 2. And let's see who would like to read paragraph 2.
I'll read it.
Thank you, Rico.
Since it's Halloween, I got my mask on. Good evening, family and friends. Welcome. Thank you for letting me be here with you. I send you love and light from my heart to yours. And nice to see you again, Kathleen. I remember you, and I'm a newcomer, so it must have been a while. 2. The earlier forms of prayer at the bottom on the ladder will not be free from envy and malice. They call for vengeance, not for love. Nor do they come from one who understands that they are cause for death, made out of a fear by those who cherish guilt. Wow, that sounds like Halloween. They call upon a vengeful God, and it is he who seems to answer them. Hell cannot be asked for another and then escape by him who asks for it. Only those who are in hell can ask for hell. Those who have been forgiven and who accepted their forgiveness could never make a prayer like that. That sounds like a strange prayer to me, but I don't think I remember what the earlier forms of prayer were at the bottom of the ladder. That must have been way back. Be free from, not be free from envy and malice. I'm not familiar with praying for envy or malice for anybody on the times when
I think if I can jump in, I think what he's alluding to here is not to entreat God. Oh, God, do this for me. Oh, God, do that for me. That's the bottom of the ladder.
thank you. Yeah, I used to be there. I'm not there anymore.
God is not Santa Claus, period.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
And the thing is here is, I don't know if maybe I'm the only one. Okay, and that's fine by me. If I'm the only one who is looking at this and saying, oh my God, have I not been doing this very thing, looking at especially the political situation here in America and looking at candidates that are, I'm looking at and thinking, they're not good enough. They're not somebody I want to have in charge. They're not somebody I want to see win. I want to see them lose. God forbid, I just want them to be in hell. Because I think they're putting me in hell, because I think that I am somehow a victim of their thinking or their teaching or their governing. I mean, I'm just being honest here. And I have heard this very same sentiment from several people who come into this room who are, upset and worried about what other people are doing to us, what other people are possibly going to do to us, or how they're and wishing hell on those people, wishing for those people to just no longer be here in this world, to bother me, to worry me, to scare me, to whatever. And that's, I mean, be honest. And it could be that I'm the only one, and that would be a miracle, and I would be so joyful to know that. But I'm telling you, some of the thoughts that come into my mind are, I'm in hell, and I'm asking for hell. I'm seriously, not every moment of the day, not every day, not, but when that thought hits my mind, I'm in hell. And I don't think I'm the only one. Dove, and then Karen. Go ahead, Dove.
I almost forgot what I was going to say, but basically, most of as I see it, most of the song of prayer on prayer is the first part on forgiveness, and then this thing on prayer is really about not using God as Santa Claus to make all your wishes come true. It's like the prodigal son, the prodigal son, you know, went down the ladder, went down the rabbit hole, then was finally eating with pigs. You didn't see the father saying, "Oh, son, come on home." He didn't say that. The son had to decide to come home, and when he came home, the father welcomed him and said, "Let's have a feast." So the father knows that you are perfectly safe, perfectly safe. It doesn't matter who wins the election, you're perfectly safe. So whenever we entreat, that's the word that basically the Course uses, the word entreat. When you entreat God and say, "God, do this for me, do that," it kind of reminds me of the movie The Avatar. And I didn't see number 2. I think that they're up to 3 now. But number 1, and you got to remember, these are Earthlings who take on Avatar form, and they come to a strange new world, and the woman there talks about, you know, their high God. I don't think she used the word God, she used something else. And there's a war going on, and the earthling says, can you ask your God to kind of favor us? After all, we're the good guys, right? And she says, I'm sorry, our God doesn't favor anyone. He doesn't favor one side to another side. Why? Because there are no sides in God. God is one. There's no sides.
I love it. Thank you for that, Dove. And exactly, you know, our God doesn't, you know, he doesn't make exceptions or have judgments against one or the other. And as far as asking God for things, um, you know, the whole idea, Jesus tells us, don't tell God how to love you. Don't tell God what it takes to love you. He already knows, and he's giving you everything. So, and if, you know, God loving me, you know, puts, you know, a raving maniac in the White House, that's, I am going to have to really accept my forgiveness. Those who have been forgiven and who accepted their forgiveness could never make a prayer like that. That's it. And Kathleen, Karen, go ahead. And Kathleen, did you want to say something? You can after Karen.
I still don't know how to do the hand.
Okay,
The
all right.
I just want to say, when Dove said that God is not Santa Claus, I actually think he is, because we were giving everything, but we deny ourselves everything. So when we ask God for something, it's because it was already given, but that part of the mind has denied it. So now we pray for him to give it to us when it was already given to us. That's when we have to realize the split mind. The split mind does not believe in the true mind that receives everything. That's because everything is a thought, is an idea of God. When we receive that idea, we're like, then we go to the split mind. Oh, okay, how can this be? I don't believe it. I have to do this. And then it ends up as being like a chaos. Then we ask God, oh, please. It's like we ask him, please, can you give me already what you have given me? So that is where we are confused, because we think that what we want, we made it up. You didn't make it up. It was given to you, but you decided to see it as something that is not maybe possible. So you end up making that impossible possible. And then you ask God to give to you what you already was given. So I think that, yeah, God is way more than Santa Claus.
I love that, Kathleen. Exactly. He's the giver of everything and gave us everything. And the only reason we don't have it is because we misplaced it. We don't even think we have it.
Yeah, we choose not to believe it because the split mind does not believe it.
Yeah.
Because the split mind is in a body and tries to do it in a body, and it's not possible because it is separate. The only lack there is separation. Once you bring back your mind to God, there is no lack. So, yeah, he is Santa Claus in a way.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kathleen. Karen, Brooklyn, and Dove. Go ahead, Karen.
Thanks, Kathleen. Thanks, Dove. I think Kathleen and Dove were saying the same exact thing, just in different ways. And I love what Dove shared about, you know, that the son decided to come home, you know, that this, you know, that God, you know, that God already knows that we are his son. We chose to leave. We chose to leave the mind of God, you know. We are at home dreaming of exile. I just love what everybody's sharing so much. We are perfectly safe. And I love what Lynn shared, asking for hell, asking for hell. And this is what this is talking about. The earlier forms of prayer at the bottom of the ladder are asking out of needs. That's when we ask out of needs. That's the lower form of prayer at the bottom of the ladder, because the top of the ladder, we already recognize that we have no needs. So that's the difference. So in that form of prayer, in that earlier form of prayer, is exactly what Lynn was talking about, praying for hell. I'm praying for hell. I'm asking for hell. If I want, and I'm not saying you said this, but if anyone says that they want this president, this person dead, I mean, they're praying for hell. So, I mean, it's like really just paying attention and noticing and reminding for me, to remind myself, I love just keep saying that I am safe. I am safe. When Regis shared that the other day, I actually wrote it on one of those yellow sticky notes and I put it on my kitchen cabinet and I took a picture of it and I sent it to him and I thanked him because I need to be reminded I am safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Brooklyn, please go ahead.
I love us so much. I don't know if this is appropriate to share, but I'm being led to share it. No matter who wins the election, there's going to be challenges. And the prayer should be, well, no, should. Oh, the prayer is thy will be done. That's it. That's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, thy will be done. And right when you were saying that, little ego Lynn was like, that's what losers say. You're prepping yourself to lose. This is how the ego works. It's like, it's just trying to set me up to be in that place of fear and judgment. And thank God. Thank God we have each other. Thank God we join each other in this place, because this is how we remember to keep our minds straight. So does anybody else have anything that they would like to share? Dove, go ahead.
Yeah. So the word denial is really a very big word in the Course of Miracles, because like in the totality of the kingdom, chapter 7, section 7, which I always say, if you want to read like one section, it's a great section. It's about 3 pages long. And it is so clear that every brother deserves nothing more than total appreciation for their role in your life. Every brother, of course, that includes DT or any other brother, because we're all in this together. It's a story, and everyone plays the perfect part. But in the first paragraph of the totality of the kingdom, it says, listen, if you deny a brother a blessing, you're going to be, you're denying yourself the blessing. But as Lynn knows from lesson number 40, her birthday lesson, we are blessed as a son of God. That's lesson 40. We're all blessed. But if you deny your brother the blessing, guess what? You're also denied. Now, the word denial comes up a few times here. As a matter of fact, Ken Wapnick says that Helen once said that never underestimate the power of denial. Now Helen knew the Course inside out, by the way, and she recognized what denial is doing. Now, in chapter 7, section 7, it says, denial is as total as love is. Now, try to picture that. I mean, we are the love of God, but we have denied the love of God. We have pushed the love of God. We've pushed ourselves away, and that's how we fell into a deep sleep. And he goes on to say, well, denial by itself doesn't really mean anything, but in the mind of the Son of God, it's the same as love. So we who are loved, we have denied ourselves. Now, in that section in the course, chapter 21, section 7, it's called the last unanswered question. I talk about it a lot because if you read it, guess what? He's talking about denial all over again, and that's the last unanswered question. He says, the last unanswered question isn't, do I want the peace of God? He says that's BS. Today you'll say yes, and tomorrow you'll want something else. That's not the last unanswered question. The last unanswered question is, am I willing, keyword is willing, to deny the denial?
Christine Wright, correct number. Christine Schmittelsky, with 5 others.
Okay, hold on. Can I call you later? Yes. So the last unanswered question is, am I willing to deny the denial? I've already denied myself. I've already denied myself. I've denied God. I've denied we're one and the same. So the last unanswered question, am I willing to deny the denial? And as Ken Wapnick says, that's like a double negative. We already put ourselves into negative numbers. And if you know anything about negative numbers, which I was wondering, why do they teach that in high school? Negative, a double negative becomes a positive. A negative wipes out the other negative and becomes a, so we're asked to deny the fact that we have denied ourselves. And that's the last unanswered question. And there's one other thing I wanted to mention with the word give. And this kind of speaks to you, Kathleen. We all think that we have been given everything. And the Course doesn't really use the word give the same way. God created his son by extending himself. So in truth, if you use the Course, we are God. And I remember when I was in way back when Gather was run, I was running Gather, and Regina was one of the major teachers there, of course. And we had this thought, am I willing to get up on the microphone and say that I am God? And everybody showed up for this meeting. And I got to admit, neither I nor Regina was willing to get on the microphone and say, I am God. But if you're doing the Course, God simply extended himself. He didn't give you special powers or something like that. He just gave you himself. So we are one with God. There's no separation.
And we're all the same.
Yeah, we're all the same.
All the same. That's it.
That's the truth of the Course.
And Shirley MacLaine, I am God. I believe it, and I think that's absolutely true. Regis, hey buddy, go ahead.
Howdy. Happy Halloween. As Dove was talking, one of the things that, like he was saying, you have to be thankful for, as he always say, be thankful for your triggers.
Yep.
If I'm afraid, if I'm angry, I think my mic's gone.
No, we hear you.
Did I lose my mic?
No, we hear you. Can you hear us? Oops. Oh, you're muted, Regis. Can you?
Okay.
Go ahead, Rafi. I'll let him know.
To deal again with that business of denial. Denial is another form of resistance, like disbelief and doubt. And it's a feeling that can be dealt with quite simply by welcoming it. Welcome the denial, welcome the fear, welcome the resistance, welcome the disbelief, the doubt. Welcome it, welcome it, welcome it. and then allow it to be there, keep saying yes to it and loving it, and then make the decision to let it go. It's really that simple. We take it as this monumental thing that has to be overcome. There's nothing that has to be overcome. It's another feeling. Okay. It's another concept that we held in our mind, and it's expressing itself as denial. Welcome it, love it. Yes, yes, denial. Yes, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I'm letting you go. It's not any more complicated than that. Thank heaven.
Absolutely. Thank heaven. All right, Regis, we got you back.
We'll try it again. Yeah. Thanks, Rafi, for jumping in. Yeah, but I was just gonna say it's like so, it's easy to say nothing in this world means anything, nothing is real, and blah 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 blah. We love to do that with A Course in Miracles communities. But when these challenges come up, uh, as Dove say, DT or KH or whichever or whomever, and so we have to ask the question, okay, so why am I wrapped so tight around this? What am I holding so dear that this person is such a threat? Uh, what about this life that I always say is an illusion, and the body is not real? These things come up to challenge us, I think, so that we can offer up another level to be healed. To say, okay, I'm wrapped too tight around this, and I need to loosen up a little bit. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Regis. And I agree with you. It's, it's time to unwrap, unravel, and stop giving a hoot.
Yeah.
We're hootless.
Did everyone see what Karen put up right out of the course? Perfect love casts out fear.
That's it.
Yeah. And what is perfect love? That's when we remember who we are. That's perfect love. So I think all the stuff that goes on in politics comes out of fear, period. But politics is nothing more than division. The whole idea of politics is this or that. That's division. And of course, in division, there is always fear. And I just want to put up one other thing about DT. Fear is, we all know the acronym, false evidence appearing real. False evidence. So, yeah, I mean, he plays his part perfectly, using the idea that the script is perfectly written and everyone has a role assigned to them, and his role was assigned to him. And I think I'm trying to think the name of that teacher from Hawaii. She was originally from Australia. You know, Lynn.
Oh, Robin Busfield.
Robin Busfield, who's written a number of books. She used to teach her 3 times a week. And I remember one of her teachings, she was telling us about a book that she was going through and reading. And in the book, whoever the author is, like the author was something like Jesus, all right, said that well, Hitler was a greater teacher than even Jesus. Now, you might say, well, that's crazy. No, if you really look at what the Course is saying, it's perfect.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Somebody has to be the bad guy. Someone has to be the one that everyone throws the guilt on.
We appointed him.
That's what keeps the world going.
Yep. We appointed him. We made that.
I have noticed that every year there's always one person who is the one that everyone says he's guilty.
Yep.
That's what keeps the world going.
That's what keeps the world going, is right. All right, my mighties, we are past our time, but I'm just really loving this. I'm gonna go ready to go down and hand out candy to little children. There's someone at my front door already. Oh, Sharon has her hand up. Go ahead, Sharon.
I just came a little late because I was out for Halloween, with my grandchildren, but I want to thank you because all of you, because this is the truth. After I was like ranting a little today about what I, felt about with the political thing, I realized that everyone is playing their part. And what Doug was saying, it's all resonating and it's so helpful. So helpful. Because I have issues around the election. So I want to thank you all.
Yeah, thank you, Sharon. And when we let this off the hook, then we get off the hook. That's nothing.
Yes,
When
absolutely.
we
But I think this group is
so
dynamic for me because it just helps me to come back and realize it's all my thoughts. I'm hurting me. So no. So there you go. Okay,
Yep,
thanks.
exactly. All right, my dears. Love you all. Happy Halloween. So happy to see you, Kathleen. I don't know if you're still on my mailing list. If you get my emails, if you do, if you, I'll try to find you and send you so you can come to our groups. We're still here every Thursday. It's always.
Thank you, everybody. Great night.
All right, guys. Love
Good
you all.
night.
Oh,